side. So here's a question. What do you see when you look in the mirror, and what voices accompany it? I feel like we sort of covered this, but I want to talk about, we sort of talked about the past. What happens kind of now? Do you have that same kind of experience that you did growing up? And do you feel good about what you see?
I think lately in the pandemic, it's been challenging, because you don't have the tools you're used to, right? Like for me, I would go out, dance salsa 3 times a week, be on the dance floor, go to hot yoga, so it was I was always on the move. And I think that moment when I tried on my favorite black overall jeans and the zipper was not zipping, I was like, oh my gosh, I've gained weight. My clothes is not, fitting me the same way. And it took me some time to just I had to just take a moment, okay, we're going to put those aside and just breathe. It's okay, we are in a pandemic. Gyms are closed. It's okay. Food has been your comfort, and that's fine because we're going through a lot. But it had I had to kind of talk to myself because I was going to have a moment of just freaking out, because it's oh my gosh, and it's you go in that rabbit hole looking at old photos, look, I was my fittest there. And, I had to just take a pause and just it's okay. Everyone's going through it. Everyone's going through it. You're going to be okay. But I had to turn it around and be you know what? You're healthy. You've been healthy for the year. That's good. So it was just trying to approach it with humility, because I feel sometimes we're our harshest critics, and it's sometimes when we criticize ourselves, it's even our best friends wouldn't have said what we're saying to ourselves. So I've been trying to just all right, don't be mean now. It's all right. But it's I feel everyone has their body fear and stuff. And for me, it's I have big hips, but it's I don't want them to be bigger, right? Everyone has this thing that they're afraid of, or feel they won't be able to control, and I had to just be no, you're fine. And I started dancing more, even if it's in my living room. But I think, when I looked in that mirror that day when those overalls didn't fit, I didn't say nice things.
Yeah.
I had to just take those overalls off instead of trying to make them fit, right, and give myself a moment. But yeah.
And I loved your video that you posted where you're dancing. I think it's in your bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
Modern dance number. Hopefully we can insert that. That would be a great thing for people to see. But you said something and it made me think of, this just happened recently. I'm getting my real ID this week. And so I had to pull out the marriage license because my social security card doesn't match, it has, anyway, so I have to match, I have to say that my married name is now this. And so I had to pull out the marriage license. And when I did, I found that my honeymoon photos. And we went to the Caribbean, and Gain and I love it there. Absolutely love it there. And I was looking at the photos. This is 12 years ago that we got married. Do you believe that?
Oh.
And every single photo that had me in it, I swear to you, I said, oh, look at how skinny I used to be. Every single one. Every single one. And of course, my husband's you're still skinny, you're still fine, you're still but it was this just weird moment of me having that voice of, because I don't look like I did 12 years ago. Of course I'm not going to look like I did 12 years ago, And also, you've pointed out, we're in a pandemic and I have been hiking, but I'm also in perimenopause. So my body is just different. It's just different. It doesn't burn calories the same way. I have a lot of muscle tone. I have a lot of strength. I have a lot of endurance. I can hike up a hill like this, 8 o'clock in the morning. And then, go back down like a mountain goat. But I feel good, but there's this thing, this little voice like, well, why don't you look like you did when you were 16? Like, that's a ridiculous comparison. That's a ridiculous. So I feel like that is something I really need to transform more, is just, like you've embraced, like, I can't fit into the coveralls, I can't wear my overalls right now. Like right now, it's like a lot of leggings for me. But come the time I have to don my business attire and put that skirt and business pants, and I don't know, that's going to be an interesting day if I can zip it up. But, it's right now, I love how I had a physical and my doctor was like, your blood work is better than it was 5 years ago. That's because I've been hiking every day and drinking a lot of water, because I'm just trying to be more mindful about how I'm taking care of my body in terms of like health. So why can't I be that same way with what I'm seeing in the mirror?
Yeah.
The double standard.
I think it's interesting that both of you made the same comment about pictures. And I think we need to ask the question from the point of view, what do you say when you look at old pictures as opposed to what do you say when you look in the mirror? Because I will tell you something, because of the history that I come from, and 6 years ago I died, and I came back and I rebooted my life and I redid everything. Now, when I look at old pictures, I'm not looking at it from a mindset of, oh, I was skinny there, or oh, I was big there, or oh, I was whatever. I was unhappy. Oh, I remember being unhappy in that picture. Or I remember being happy in that picture. Oh, that was a really good, happy moment. I no longer look at it from that perspective. And I think we as a society, women in general, need to be looking at our pictures, our past pictures, and determining our happiness. Because the size of our body should not determine our happiness at all. It does. Unfortunately, there's moments today that I look in the mirror and I'm not going to lie. There's moments today I look in the mirror and I'm like, ooh, girl, you are hot. You're 45 years old and you have got it going on. And then there's moments I look in the mirror where I'm like, oh, God, I'm all gassy and bloated. And I just feel, ugh, look at all that cellulite. Look at this loose skin. Oh, I see all my wrinkles. Those are the moments that I need to, like Stacey, like you said, be gentle with myself and give myself a little more self-love and say, hey, you might have a little bit of loose skin, but you created 3 human beings. So it's okay to have a little bit of loose skin. You might have a few wrinkles, but you've lived a hard life, a wonderful, partially wonderful life, partially hard life. You're going to have some wrinkles. You've got the smile wrinkles and then you've got the frown wrinkles. It's okay. You've lived a life. You've lived. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have to change our perception on how we're looking at those photographs and how we're looking at ourselves in the mirror and what story are we telling ourselves? That's what it is. It's what story we're telling ourselves.
Yeah. And I think the story is really affiliated with outside voices, and Stacey, you did a really good job of this as a kid. I want to commend you again for not letting, that kid destroy you in that yearbook. I actually want to go find that kid and go punch him. But I know, but I'm also working in nonviolent communication, so.
Yeah, but I love marrying those two.
Yeah, but I realized how that did affect me. Of course, like my action, I changed it up and I went out there again, right? And please sign my yearbook. And I think it's like sometimes giving ourselves the space to feel those feelings, and I think like it did hurt, but I was like, I took a moment and I changed it where I was like, that was very clever. I was like, I don't know how I thought, I was like,
totally
reworded it. It made no sense, but I'm like, he's a boy. People would be like, this is dumb. I'm like, exactly. Well, not all boys are dumb. I'm not gonna, but you know, middle school days. And I think there was still this like idea of just like trying to embrace like my shape and not see it as something bad, you know, especially when others were telling you like, oh, you should lose weight, like, you know, and it's like, well, I'm dancing, I don't know. And even now, like, I was in a dance program 5 years ago, dancing full time, and I did a piece. It was like, you know, in the dance studio, did a piece, and this woman came up to me and she touched my hips and she's like, "You dance so much. Why aren't you not skinnier?"
Oh,
you know?
my God.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. And I had to like take a moment, right? But it's like realizing like no matter what age I am, people are going to have their opinions, you know, about your body and how your body should look or not look. And it was just like, you know, I stopped dancing because I didn't feel like I fit, because I wasn't tall enough, and you know, the size of what I thought was the status quo of a dancer. I remember watching So You Think You Can Dance. I think it was like 2007, and I forgot the dancer's name, but she was like the first ever curvy dancer to be on that reality dance show, you know, and she was like a black curvy girl, and it was like the first time I felt seen, because it was like, look at this dancer, she's curvy and she's doing her pirouettes and she's doing these amazing modern contemporary pieces. So I think it was just like, you know, I went back to dancing because it was like, I'm always going to be a dancer, so let me not stop what I love because of what I think is the norm, you know? But yeah, that happened, and I was like, whoo, this brought me back, you know? Brought me back to when I was 13, about my weight and stuff at a dance studio. But yeah.
Well, and I think, you know, men, of course, obviously play a big role in what women are supposed to look like. But I think other women play a big role in that too. You know, like that woman saying to you, with all the dancing, why aren't your hips, you know, you're like, bitch, this is how I'm built, you know? You know, like, it's just how I'm built, and I'm just loving it all. So back off. Plus, also, I remember when you were dancing and taking that class or that course, and you posted a lot of videos then too. I watched, I think, almost every single one of them. I loved watching you dance. You got soul, sister.
Oh, thank you.
I loved it. And I'm sorry that she said that, but I feel like women can be really cruel too to one another. And I think that's, you know what, let that start with us. Let that begin with us.
Yes. I think women actually play a bigger role than men when it comes to how we view what's acceptable and what isn't, because we're constantly trying to compete with one another, and we've got to stop competing, stop comparing, and start supporting. I've said 1,000 times, if women would just stop fighting each other, if we would stop competing with each other and stop comparing ourselves to each other, and we would come together and unify and rise up, we could take over the world. You know, maybe world domination is not really what we need to be focused on, but we could do it.
Yeah. We're good multitaskers, so, you know.
Oh,
yeah, we could accomplish so much if we would just support each other instead of tearing each other down.
Go.
Yes. 100% agree with all of that.